Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Finished?
Finished. Now we're gonna talk. Are you ready to order?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you gonna get?
Oh, I just had enough. I lost it again.
You get a burger,
Yeah, I think so. I think,
bacon cheeseburger.
yeah, sounds good. Bacon cheeseburger, yeah.
All right now.
With the bacon well done.
Okay. We'll tell him.
Yep.
I'll tell him.
Okay.
Yep.
So what are you holding this now? Oh, we're just talking.
Yeah. Now we're gonna talk. So you can
Oh.
take off your glasses. So, what we were gonna talk about was, remember how I was telling you I was gonna interview you about when you were little?
Yes.
So, you want to tell me a little about when you were little? Remember?
Yes.
What did you were telling me? You remembered something?
Oh, I remember many things. I remember climbing trees,
Right.
way, way up to the top in tall trees. And then my mother starts screaming down below, come down, come down, come down. And I didn't move. She says, you come down before you kill yourself. I says, I won't kill myself. That's ridiculous. Why would I kill myself?
And did she threaten you?
Sure, she threatened
What'd
me.
she say she was gonna do?
She said, when you come down, you're going to get it on the backside.
And what else? Did she say?
And you're not going to get no dinner tonight.
And what about wearing a dress?
And wearing a dress will not be for you anymore. You will be wearing pants. Because if you want to be a boy, you have to wear pants. And if you want to climb trees, you're a boy.
And what happened when you climbed the tree? What did you say?
I just said, hello down there. Everybody all right?
Did you see things from the tree?
Oh, sure. I
What?
saw the fields, so beautiful green. I saw the sea where the boats went by. I could see way out, way out until the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh yeah. And could you see other people's houses?
Oh, definitely. Lots of them.
And when you were little, what did you guys do to keep yourselves amused, to entertain yourselves?
Oh, we did everything. We played ball, we skipped ropes, we chased each other from one farm to the other, see who could get there first.
Did you tell stories?
Of course, we told stories.
What did you tell stories about?
We told stories about things that we made up along the way,
Like what?
like about a chicken that could talk.
Is that when you made up? That you
Yeah, of
remember that?
course, of course.
And did you tell scary stories?
Scary story too about spooks and coming out at night in long black dresses with snow white faces and scaring the daylight out of everybody.
And what about trolls?
Oh, trolls we saw many times. They were up in the mountain. But when
You
it,
saw them?
oh yeah, but when it got dark, sort of darkish outside, then they came and showed their faces. And they, oh,
Really? And I remember you telling me there was an old man that you used to bring something to. Do you remember that? You used to bring him milk or food or something?
oh yes, there was an old man lived way up in the mountain, all by himself. He never came off the mountain. So everybody used to feel sorry for him, and we used to bring him up bread and milk and cheese and whatever we could, and gave it to him, and he was very happy.
That was very nice of you. And do you remember your grandma?
Oh yeah.
What do you remember about her?
Oh, I remember many things about my grandmother. She was the only one in town that could read and write perfectly.
Oh, really?
So everybody came to her. If they want to write a letter to a son or a daughter or a friend, she did the write. They told her what, and she did the writing for them.
And do you remember any specific times?
No, it could be any time.
And were, your grandma was, what do you remember? Do you remember talking to her ever?
Oh, sure.
What did you talk about?
Talked about many things. We talked about how nicely people dress nowadays, and my grandmother didn't think it was nice at all. The skirts were too short, and many things were wrong with our clothes. It was so much nicer when they all wore long skirts, and they looked so much like women, and it was wonderful.
Is that what you think now?
No, that's not what I think now.
And what do you remember about your your other family relatives and stuff?
Well, I remember my uncle Halvard. He was the only one who was a hunter, and he was always on the go to shoot something or other. And when we saw him come with the guns, we ran like crazy because maybe I make a mistake and shoot us.
Oh, really? You were worried about that?
Yeah, and when it was very quiet, he used to ask us to be very quiet because if we were very quiet and there was no noise, then the deers would come out, and were they beautiful? They were so beautiful. They looked at us and their eyes were shining, and we just loved them, and we begged him not to shoot him.
Oh, really? But he did.
Oh, sure. Well, people had to eat.
Hold on 1 second, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Okay?
yeah. We're
Okay.
not done. We're not. We can order now.
Yeah, all right, let's order.
Okay, let's tell them we want to order. Oh, we're ready to order. Sure. Yeah. This is fine. The shrimp salad is right up here.
Yeah. What was it I was going to have now? I forgot.
Bacon cheeseburger.
Oh, yeah, bacon cheeseburger, very well done on both. The meat. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, well done, and the bacon well done too.
The bacon well done.
And
You used to work in a diner, Nana, right?
oh, that was in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you remember when you first came to New York?
What I remember when I first came to New York, the great big buildings,
Oh yeah.
and I couldn't get over it. And I used to stand and gaze up at the buildings for the longest time.
And
Water?
Oh, I'm not having. I'm eating dinner later with my friends.
Oh,
Do you remember going to the top of any buildings, kind of like going on? You were telling me, Grandma, that you remembered that going to the top of the tree in Norway was a lot like going to the top of the Empire State Building. Do you remember that?
seemed that way.
So tell me about the tree again, and then tell me about Empire State Building.
Well, the tree was very high, and it was not easy to climb up, but we got there. And we looked down, and we seemed so high up. And going to the Empire State Building, it was absolutely fascinating. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was scared to look down, but I looked down just the same.
What did you say?
I say, my, oh my, this is something. This is really beautiful. You could see all of the city and see water and see everything from there. It was fascinating.
Yeah. And so you were also telling me, you said that when you were in Norway, that there were a lot of nature there, and you didn't appreciate it until you were older.
Oh yes, there was beautiful. It was beautiful country, beautiful gardens and flowers and green grass and tall trees and everything. But of course, I didn't appreciate it until I was older. You took it for granted when you were a child. That's the way it would be everywhere, but it isn't.
What was the most beautiful things you remember?
I think being up on the mountain, on a very tall mountain, and looking down at my home, and my grandmother, my father, and my brothers were outside. Everybody looked like flies, so small. It was nice.
And what do you remember about your mom and your brothers?
I remember about my mom. She worked day and night all the time. There were 7 of us, and there was plenty of cooking and plenty of washing and scrubbing for all of us. She never had a moment to talk to us, hardly.
So did you ever talk to her?
Oh, yes, I talked to her as I got older, sure. And we talked about things. We talked about me coming to America and stuff like that, because she always knew that I would go back to where I was born someday.
Why did she know that?
Well, she felt that since most Norwegians that are born in the United States always have that urge to see it again. And I suppose that's what she based it on.
And when did what's the story about when you went to how you were born in the United States?
Oh, well, there isn't so much I remember from it. I don't remember when I was born, only what my parents told me.
What'd they tell you?
My father used to, I was newborn and right along, he never went out, he didn't come home with a gift for me, and my mother was so angry with him.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're making a rotten kid out of her, and this and that and everything else.
And did your parents meet in New York?
They met in New York, but they married in Norway.
But you were
Of
born.
course, they were both more or less from the same town. They didn't really know each other, but they had heard of each other's families and seeing each other. Probably in church or someplace like that.
And what do you remember about when you were in Norway growing up, going to school and your brothers?
Oh, the most wonderful day in my life, going to school. I couldn't wait. My mother had prepared me for it, telling me I was going to wear a new, clean, starched dress every day, and I did. She sewed and she sewed and she sewed, and I had a full week, 7 dresses, one for each day.
Wow.
And I was very happy about that.
What were your friends like in school?
There were all kinds of friends. There were friends that were more or less like I and my brothers were. They came from fairly comfortable homes. And there were the middle class, not so good, and then there were the very poor. That was very sad. Their clothes was patched, everything was a mess, and we felt so sorry for them.
What were your friends like? Did you?
My friends were nice. I enjoyed them.
And what do you remember about your brothers and your sisters growing up?
I remember my oldest brother fighting with him all the time. All the time we were fighting.
About what?
About nothing.
Which brother?
Adolf. And then the twins came along, and we got too busy to fight because we had 2 to look after. So he took one and I took one, and we were busy with that for years. And that was nice.
It was taking care of them.
Yeah.
What did you do with them?
Oh, we did all kinds of things. We built sand castles, we played ball, and we made snowmen in the wintertime out of snow. And we used pieces of coal to make their eyes with, and the nose and the mouth we shaped with whatever way we could do it. If we had something that was kind of reddish, we used it. If we didn't, we just used black and white. But it was fun.
When you were telling me about when you got a light in your house, electricity.
Oh yes, we used to have lamps. We used to have paraffin lamps. That's an oil that you poured into something looked like a vase, and then there was a thing in the middle that had what they call a wick, and they lit that with a match, and it burned the oil, and it had a shade over it. It was very pretty. Very.
And then after that, what did you have?
And then after that came the electric light. And we were one of the first ones in town to have electric light. Everybody came to the house to see it.
What was it like?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was just great, just to think that and you had light, wonderful. Not many people did. Of course, even for that time, it was quite expensive, and few people could afford it.
So when you were little, you didn't have movies or television.
Not.
So what'd you do?
We did other things. We played balls outside, and we played games with each other.
What kind of games?
Something like any play you would make. You know, we pretended we were something or other.
Do you remember any of these?
Yes, I remember being always playing a ghost and scaring everybody to death.
You did that? You were a ghost
Yeah.
man, and you scared everyone?
Yeah, I had a black thing over my face.
You want my orange juice?
And you know, only my face stuck out.
Who did you scare? Who did you scare?
I scared everybody. Not the big ones, but the little ones I scared, yes. They saw me, they started running like crazy. Of course, they didn't know who it was. They really thought it was a ghost.
And did you really think you saw you saw trolls? You were saying?
Oh yeah, when I was small, I thought I saw trolls.
And where were they again?
They were coming out from the mountains, coming down from the mountains after us.
And so then, after you were were growing up, and then you decided you were going to go to America.
Yes. I did.
So tell me, how did you get there? What did you do when you first got there?
Oh, well, the first thing that was very fascinating was being on that big ship and going to dinner, like if you were in a fancy restaurant every night. And that was wonderful and exciting and new to us. And plus all the people that were on the ship that you met and talked to, they came from all different parts of the country. And things like that.
Do you remember what the name of the ship was?
Stavanger Fjord.
What is it?
Stavanger Fjord. Stavanger is a city in Norway. And they named the ship after the city. So they called it Stavanger. Fjord means like a river.
And did you have any friends that were traveling with you?
No, I didn't have any friends, but I soon made friends that came from other towns around that I didn't really know. Some of them I had heard of.
And what did you do? What did you do when you first got to New York?
Look for a job. What else could you do?
Where did you stay?
My aunt and uncle. And they, of course, immediately sent me out looking for work. And I started with babysitting and worked my way up.
Babysitting?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I'm hungry. Aren't you?
You can talk while we eat, right?
Yeah. So,
So then you worked your way up. Where did you work eventually?
in the restaurant. That was my main.
Was it like this?
Mm-hmm.
What was it like?
Or something like this.
Sorry.
Weighs a ton. So much.
It's a lot to consume, right? In one meal.
You gonna be able to eat it all, Nana?
No. You want some?
No. You'll just save it. You'll have to save and have it later.
Potatoes are always good here.
Yeah.
Is that right? One crab cake?
Is it good?
Not.
I'm sorry, what did you say? You made what for me?
I was looking at the picture on the bottom. I never noticed that before.
Which one?
I like the crab cake.
The one on the bottom, right above the seat.
The one
Yeah, with the water. The water, isn't it?
yeah, the bridge. Brooklyn Bridge, I think.
Oh, yeah, I can't see that, but I see the water.
So what was it like when you were working at this restaurant?
It was nice. We go hungry and we have plenty to eat. They let us eat anything we wanted.
Very nice, guys.
And were the people that worked there nice?
Very nice.
What was the place called?
I think the Parkway Diner. It was right in back of Ebbets Field
So were there ball games there a lot?
all the time. Oakland Dodgers.
You ever see any famous ball players come in?
Always so many of them.
Yeah. Who?
One called Pete Rice and Joe DiMaggio, and
Joe DiMaggio ever come to diner?
that I know of.
Did you go to the ball game and see him play?
Come on, son.
Oh, that's good. So do you like coming to EJ's?
Don't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you eating?
No, I'm eating dinner. I'm gonna eat dinner later
Oh,
with my friend.
oh yeah.
It's her birthday.
Oh. That's nice.
So what else do you remember? What else do you want to tell me about?
Well, I'm trying to think. In those days, we were never afraid of anything. We used to visit in friends' houses, go home at 2 and 3 in the morning, and nobody touched you.
So you're never worried about that.
Never.
What would you do with your out for fun?
At the friends,
Yeah.
but believe it or not, even in those days, they had gramophones, phonographs, and we played music and danced and some other friends would play a guitar or violin or something and entertain us. We entertained us in our own way, the best way we could, and it was fun.
What year did you come to New York?
1937.
How old were you?
Burger medium.
16.
Wait, what year were you born in? 17? So you were
Oh, wait, you figure it out.
20.
No, I wasn't that old. Then I wasn't, then I have to date wrong. I wasn't that old. I wasn't 20. Maybe 18.
What?
The only ticket I have up here.
36 or thereabouts. It was before the war. During the war, you were upset.
Of course. Everybody was. We were very upset about the Second World War.
This is ready, right?
That was something they had told us would never happen.
They said no more wars.
No, after the first. But it did.
You know people that went to the war?
Oh yes, lots of them. All the young boys.
Burger medium.
Were you close with any of the boys that went to the war?
Not that close because I was very young. I hadn't really started dating. It was just the beginning.
What do you remember when Uncle Robert was born?
It wasn't a good time in New York at that time. Work was very scarce, hard to find a job, and it would pay like $6, sometimes $7 a week.
A week. Wow.
A week.
Wow.
But we got along. We went to the room for $3 a week. Then we had $4 left to spend.
Wow.
The only thing I benefited was by I didn't have to pay for food. So you see, these places have a lot to offer.
These places?
Yeah, you think of a restaurant, it's nothing, but you'd be surprised how many people got started out of restaurants. Many who became owners of restaurants or went into business of other sorts. Because you came here, you didn't get such great pay, but you didn't get much pay anyplace else, and you would have to eat.
What about when Dad was born? Greg.
Oh, yeah. You mean Robert? Well, your father? Oh. Yeah, things were pretty good then. Everything had improved a lot.
But Uncle Robert, he didn't live with you all the time.
No. Because I had so many jobs where I had to be working at night. And sometimes they shift me to days, but I never really know, so I couldn't plan anything.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm. So I was fortunate. I found a woman that was very good and very understanding, and she sent me on my way.
She took care of Robert.
Yeah,
Was his name always Robert, or was it Olaf?
I don't know. She didn't take care of him. I did, but when I needed to work, she did.
What about Dad? Dad was
Well, that was different. That was a different time. Money was better, and you could hire somebody to look after the children and be able to pay for it. See, it wasn't so long before the war started, and when the war started, everything went up.
everything went up.
Yeah, they paid you more money, and things became better.
What was it? Now, I once interviewed you. You told me about when Dad had a puppy. What happened?
I don't know. Dad had a puppy. I thought that was Olaf.
Puppy? No, Dad had a puppy, and they made him give it away.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, that's right. Didn't want to dog in the house.
Tell the story.
My landlord was a dentist. He owned the house, and I didn't ask him, but he soon found out, and he told me I could never allow that.
A puppy.
Yeah. So I had to get rid of it. This I'm going to take home. Of course I can't. If I didn't eat for 3 days, I couldn't eat all of this.
Yeah.
Too much.
What about what other things do you remember when Dad was little? What do you remember about Dad when he was little?
Well, he was just like any other boy. He was a good child. Had nice friends.
Like what? Like him?
Like who? Some of them I don't even know. I can't remember the names of them. But he had many friends. One of his friends was Robert Keat. He never forget him. I wouldn't either. Of course, he spent so much time in my house. He was more with us than he was home. And I remember that his father used to sell ice cream from an ice cream truck, and they were very poor. You know, for the days they sold ice cream cups like for 15 cents. So how much money could they make? And there were many children.
And what else?
Well, one of the other things.
Did you ever go on any vacations or any trips in America?
Not much for many years. There were no money. There were no money for. They didn't give. First of all, they didn't give you vacation. You could take it, but you didn't get paid. So most people couldn't take it because they couldn't afford it.
Well, you've been outside of New York, right?
Oh, definitely, many places. But that was many years later.
Where?
Oh, I've been to Boston, to Philadelphia, to various places in the Catskill Mountains.
What were those like?
Oh, beautiful.
What did you do there?
What year?
What did you do there?
What did we do there? Well, there were grooming houses, there were hotels, whatever you could afford. And they did the same thing people do today. They played tennis and played handball. Yes, I tried my hand at it. I wasn't too good, but I tried. And things like that.
And what about, do you remember Do you remember when about Kennedy and stuff when he was assassinated?
Oh, yes, yes. A very sad day. I would never forget it. But I was working then.
What happened?
Well, I was working and there was a bunch of girls there, and they were playing and making such a racket and laughing and screaming and yelling and having such a great time. So the news came over the radio, and I couldn't get them to stop. I could not get them to be quiet. I said, "Now look," I took the thing and banged down the knife and banged down the counter, and I said, "Now, you're going to stop?" They got scared. They thought I was going to kill them or something. I said, "I want to tell you something. President Kennedy has just been shot." Then they start screaming. "Is he dead? Is he dead?" I said, "Yes, he's dead." It was horrible. Oh, it was horrible. Everybody started crying. It was horrible. He was so young and he was so loved. You know, we thought it was so wonderful that he became president and was so young. And yeah, it was so awful.
And then what about when I was born? What were you doing when I was born?
Same thing, same kind of work. But it was better then, you know. Money was better and conditions were better. And I had a very understanding boss for many years. He, if I couldn't come one day, he would not be angry or anything.
So then what happened? You left work finally when I was born?
No, I continued to work. Somebody looked after you.
No, me.
Oh, you? No. I left work for that when I took care of you and Lauren. And that's after Daddy got married. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about before.
So what happened when I was born? What did you do?
You cried all the time?
I did?
Oh, cried all the time. It was a tough job, let me tell you. It wasn't easy.
Why?
But you got better.
Oh yeah?
I got you around to come. We did a lot of playing.
Like what?
Out in the street, playing ball and be with other kids. And we had a good time.
Do you remember when you used to come over to my house when you would be at my house and I would be going to bed, going to sleep?
Yeah. You wouldn't sleep till 2 in the morning?
What did I used to ask you when I was little to do when I was going to bed?
Oh, tell me a story.
Yeah.
Tell me a story. I tell a story, tell me another one. And it could go on way into the night.
And do you remember you used to count me?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes to 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And what about when Lauren was born?
Well, Lauren was very easy.
She was? She
Yeah,
was easier.
she was very easy. She was tired and she went to sleep and you didn't hear from her. But you could stay up all night.
And what Mom and Dad said that when you were little, when Lauren was a baby, you called her Sophia. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes, I remember.
What, tell me that story.
Well, that's the name of a lot of people.
Wait, say it.
Huh?
Say it.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia is named for many little girls and women in Norway. It's a very popular name. In other words, you hear it occasionally now. They call it Sophie.
What about Sophia Loren?
Oh, that was way before her time.
So is that why you called Lauren that, Sophia Loren?
Yeah.
And what about Roosevelt Island? Did you like living there?
Yes, I loved it. It was really nice.
Why?
I don't know, it was so beautiful. It was so quiet and you could go down right down to the water and walk along the waterfront and it was wonderful.
You ever want to go back there?
Sure, I've been back. I've been back there many times.
Yeah. Have you gone to church there recently?
Not recently, no. No. The minister I knew for so many years, he died.
We're gonna have hours on it.
After he died, I somehow or other didn't go so much, but once in a while.
Thanks.
Now I can't go, I have Daisy.
And so, what do you remember when you were when you were? Tell me once more about your grandma and what you used to talk to her about again.
Oh, my grandmother, yeah. My grandmother would tell stories and we would talk about everything, and she would learn me things, you know. If I didn't know how to write something, she could write it for me. And the funny part of it was that she never went to school. When she grew up there, they had no school. But her parents were not too badly off, so they used to have like a tutor that came to the house and helped teaching my grandmother and her sisters and brothers to read and to write and stuff like that. But there were no school that you were compelled to go. There were schools, but if you didn't want to go, or the parents didn't want to send you. And many parents didn't, because they put their kids to work when they were 6, 7 years old. They couldn't go to school, they should work. Well, you know, on the farm or whatever errands they could do. And that was pretty sad. But I always went to school.
What was your grandma's name?
Tomine. Tomine.
How do you spell that?
Tomine. Tomine. Well, you never hear of it in English.
What about what was your mom and dad's name?
Amanda. That's my second name.
It is?
Yeah. And my father's name was Torvald. They call him Tom here in New York, and after a while he was Tom there too.
But did you see your dad a lot or not too much?
No, not much. No, very little.
Sad.
It was sad, but not as sad as it seems now, because that's the way most people had it. Their father was away for years on end.
I get to see Dad a lot.
Yeah, and how are you fortunate? You're very lucky. Okay.
You ready to go? Mm-hmm. All right. Wait, one more thing. Now, I'm confused about the name Adolfsen.
Yeah.
Where did this come
Well,
from?
this comes from, that comes from, I think, my great-grandfather was named Adolf for first name, and his son would become Adolfsen, or Adolf's son. You know, like you say Adolf's son,
Yeah.
but they spelled it S-E-N. They didn't spell it son. Some did, but most people didn't.
But I thought your name was Gotland.
That's where we lived, and that's the name we used mostly. But on formal papers, you know, like if you wanted to apply for citizenship, we used Adolfsen. But Gotland was the name we were known under as we were growing up.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought
Yeah.
for some reason,
No.
Grandma, I thought you made it up.
No, that's where we lived. That's the name of the farm.
Gotland. What does that mean, Gotland?
It's the story goes that there was many, hundreds of years ago, before our time, there was a king in that area, because the country had like 60 kings, small kings, each had a little property. So his name was Goat, and he lived where we lived, and that got called Gotland after him. and it remained that way. Still goes on.
Now, one more thing. You were telling me about nature in Norway, and you love it there. And when you were telling me that you miss it, kind of, or that you didn't realize how great it was, what was one of your favorite things in nature there?
Running through the tall grass. The grass was as tall as I was. You had to wait, you had to sort of push with your arms and move your feet fast to run through it. Otherwise, you tumble over. It was fun.
What else? Anything else?
No, I don't think there was anything special.
Did you like the trees there?
Oh, yeah.
You told me you like the trees because of the way the shapes and stuff.
Yeah. I still like trees. I still walk some places and I see some fascinating trees, growing in all kinds of. The stem isn't a straight stem. It has branches, well, it's not really called branches, I don't know what you call it, but it grows other stems onto it. You can look at the trees outside and see what I'm talking about.
And so tell me about them.
And, being a cold country, it was a very short time that the trees were green. The rest of the time they were always the color of a tree with no leaves on. And
So
that,
then
that was nice.
when they were no leaves,
Huh?
you liked it better with no leaves?
Yeah,
Because of the way the shapes were?
yeah. I still like that, trees without leaves. You still see them around. Certain time of the year, the leaves fall off and the tree is there by itself.
And okay. Wow.
Okay, I think we
Thanks,
should
Nat.
pay and we
Mwah.
should get going. Because if we sit any longer, I won't be able to get up.
Okay. Second check. You were looking at that picture before over there?
Yeah, there it is. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Beautiful.
What? Can you see it on there now?
Yeah. Very nice.
So what, do you see what it's a picture of?
Yeah, the picture over there.
So do you see what the picture is of? Can you tell what it is?
Oh yeah, now I
Wait,
can
hold on.
see the sky and the ground. And somebody standing there, or is that a tree?
It's a bridge.
Oh, it's a bridge. Oh yeah. Yeah, now I see it. Okay.
You know what that is, Graham? It's the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember going?
Yeah, you see New York skyline.
Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. The first time you saw it, what did you think?
I thought it was beautiful. I still do.
So this is like a diner that you used to work at?
Did they give you money for this? Yeah.
Is this a diner like you used to work at?
Yeah, something like it.
Okay. Last thing.
Yeah, what is
So,
it?
do you have anything that you wish you had done? Anything you wish you could do differently?
Lots of things.
What?
Should have made more money. I should have gotten a better job than I did.
But it all worked out.
It worked out anyway, but I'm sure I could have done better if I taught the way I think now, but I didn't.
What's the way you think now?
Well, now I think that it's worth the time, but at that time I didn't want to be tied up too much because I want to do other things besides working.
Any other regrets you have that?
No, not really. Not really.
Anything you would have wanted to do in life?
I'm happy with things the way they are.
You happy with all your family?
Oh, yeah.
All of your grandchildren?
Oh, yeah. And great-grandchildren.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Will you tell me about Linda, Kathy, and Robert when they were little?
Oh yeah, when they were little, we had a lot of fun in South Ozone Park. We played outside of the house, ran around the house, in between other houses, and oh, we had a great time. They were nice kids.
Did you when did you get to see them? What were they like? What was Kathy like when she was little?
Oh, Kathy was into a lot of things. She was a very active child, much more so than the other two.
Really? What did she do that was active?
Well, some things I don't really remember, but I remember that her mother complained about how you're always into something, you're always getting yourself dirty and this and that and other things.
And what about Linda?
No, Linda was very quiet, very, very quiet child.
And Robert?
And Robert too was a pretty quiet boy. Okay.
Okay, no, thanks.